Oh yes, Mzansi, you have made an absolutely incredible decision because you're right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We're opening up with S3 and about to bring in some incredible conversation. We're talking about something called a situationship. If you ever heard the word, well then, well done to you. If you haven't, don't worry, we got you covered. Now, situationships and undefined connections are on the rise. And the question is, are they slowly replacing romantic relationships? Now, we have Sadia Southgate, who is a HPCSA registered counselor and psychologist, as well as a supervisor. And she's joining us right now as we look at the blurred lines and navigate that grey area together. Hopefully, we can find clarity here this morning. Sadia, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. I love your colors. It's
Thank
radiating good vibes. So hopefully
Yes.
we can get that out of this convo.
We cross fingers, honestly
yes.
we
I'm
do.
scared about this world, eh?
I'm telling you, situationships. I don't know, we say they're on the rise, but I feel like that's just the name we've given something that's
Yes.
been around for a while, right?
We're just catching
Yeah.
people out more.
This is what I'm saying. So I'm
Exposure.
curious to hear your take on situationships. If you think
Yes.
that is the evolution of romantic relationships, if it's something separate, or if it's just another word we've given for being emotionally closed off.
I think you've touched it there when you said, it's kind of something that's been on the rise already for years.
Yeah.
And what I thought about as you both were speaking, is that oftentimes people see relationships as when it comes to friends with benefits. So there's kind of just like a nicer term
Right.
for situationships or friends with benefits. But I believe that it's come on the rise because of social media. And so basically dating apps, like I'm not familiar with dating apps because I'm married.
Nice.
So it's what's it, Bumble and Tinder as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So social media specifically has this connotation of just swiping, and you always see certain things about, I have this option, then I have that option. So oftentimes, it's on the rise because there's more than one option that people have. And I believe that when it comes to it replacing romantic relationships, I would definitely say it has, because romantic relationships, there's more commitment there. There's more transparency. I'm being open. I'm committed to one particular person, let's say for the rest of my life, So when it comes to a situationships, it's saying that I want you and I want you and I want you. There's so many options. And I just want to click and I just want to swipe and I just want to tap, So it's definitely been on the rise because of social media. That is a trend as well.
I mean, look, I got to be honest here. When I was growing up as a youngster, learning about my sexuality and what I loved and wanted, it was quite overwhelming to experience how much of an external influence these decisions were being impacted on, right? So if I was told about this when I was a kid, I would exploit this. Hands down, honestly, I would have exploited this. I would have been like, let's get in a situationship. That's just more numbers for me, just exploring the world.
Yes.
How can youngsters not want to fall into this trap? Because it's so easy. There's no strings attached. I can have my cake and I can eat it.
Right.
This is promoting something that I don't think personally is quite healthy. Now that I've learned about what love is and the power of real commitment,
Yes.
looking at both sides now, I'm like, hang on, we're getting led down a very slippery slope here, which could ruin our ability to love truly, don't you think?
Yes, and also just, with the next generation that's coming up, there's always the curiosity side. So as adults, maybe you feel like, no, it's okay, I'll settle down and things like that. But as a youngster and as an adolescent, it's like, let me explore this type of thing.
Yeah.
But it's so dangerous because I believe that us as practitioners are left with the crumbs of having to pick that person up again.
Sure.
Because now what is happening is that now I need to, as a practitioner, sit with a client and I need to kind of reassure them, remind them that they are resilient as human beings, but coming down to how do I give this person hope again that love is out there.
Sure.
And that is the
It's just
danger.
been broken.
Completely
completely.
shattered. It's tough, but we're grateful for you to be able to put us back together. But I think about a situationship, right? I don't find myself in one. If I were to find myself in one, speaking on behalf of,
Yes.
and I'm looking at it going, okay, do I move on from this or do I now make the commitment, right? How do you even navigate that decision making?
Yeah, it's difficult to navigate through that situationship. So
Yeah.
let's just say you are not in one week.
Please let me know.
Can we confirm this?
Yes.
Are you in a situation?
She's on the way. She's on the way.
It's on the way, yes. It's just a mere fact, that it comes down to understanding, what you want and what that person wants.
Yeah.
So oftentimes I would say, transparency and open communication, effective open communication is what's key in any relationship. But we know in today's society it that does not always go according to plan.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, I often speak about knowing your worth. If this is something that I want, I would pursue it, and I know that that is something that my partner wants as well.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes what happens is that people that are in situationships, they just tell you what you want to hear, but not what you need to hear.
Sure.
And that is the difference that they need to watch out for.
I love this. For me, what this sounds like is just like a cop-out to the inevitability of that moment in relationship before you commit. You know that that moment of like, I'm getting to know you,
Test
I'm getting to
waters.
find out about yourself.
Yes.
We're not dating yet, but like, let's figure it out. Is
Yes.
that not just kind of like what this seems to really be? But instead we put a label on it, and we're now saying that a situationship can be a thing. If we
Yeah.
didn't label it, then it would be a phase of moving towards
A
getting into a relationship, or
Yes.
this is not for me.
Yes.
Should it not then just be that? Could a situationship not just be exactly that? I don't know.
Are you advocating for
I don't know.
situations?
Maybe.
sounds like
Maybe,
it.
if it's done the right way.
It sounds, you see, if it's done the right way.
Yeah.
But I think it's the terminology situationship, because that already, even though, situationships are seen as the lack of commitment, and I'm not putting a label on it, but the terminology in itself is already putting a label on it.
Yeah.
So if we eliminate that and we say that I'm getting to know you because I want to pursue you as my spouse or as my partner, let's say courtship.
Yes.
That again is a different perspective that we are taking when it comes to relationship. And I, for one, would say when someone comes and say, you know what, let's not label this, that already is, I won't say a
red
red flag,
flag?
but technically, if you read it like through the
Why
bloodlines,
not?
it would
Yeah.
say this is not going to go far,
Commitment
and there
issues.
are.
Right, exactly.
I'm not
Daddy
commenting.
issues, mommy issues, so many issues.
Yes.
What would you suggest, though, like in this reality that we're speaking out, which I think is so often played out in real life?
Yes.
One of the people in the situationship is gonna eventually feel like, I want more, right?
Yeah.
When is a good time to be honest about that? And should you be honest, knowing that you are in a situationship?
Right.
Is it fair for me to be honest in the situationship and say, listen,
I caught feelings, bro.
I coupled feelings. I want more. I need more.
Yes.
Is that fair then if we have established that we're in this situationship?
I think that it is fair because as humans we are wired for connection. So feelings are inevitable. So whether it's friends, and that's why I say that's where the terminology, I believe the nice term came.
benefits,
Came in is because we are spending time together. So for me, psychologically understanding that if it's just a situationship, you are numbing yourself to actually feeling. And I don't think that that is psychologically healthy because it often leads to depression and anxiety, trauma, a lack of self-esteem, and as you were touching on a whole lot of nuggets there.
Yeah, come on.
Yes. I just want to say is that, we do understand that there is a danger to it. So I would say, first and foremost, if these are adults, I often say when it comes to adults, you have a right to be open and honest about your thoughts and your feelings because I know where I stand and it's helpful for me to know where you stand.
Absolutely.
And that in itself creates a bond, not just between the two of you, but a lifelong commitment that you have with each other. And essentially, it has a ripple effect into everything else in our lives.
Whew. Well, listen, we are not done talking about
Getting real.
situationships because there's so much more to unpack with Sadia Southgate, who is still going to sit on our couch with us because, listen, we got questions. And if you've got questions too, remember to hit us up on our socials or even on our WhatsApp line with a voice note or a message, just letting us know exactly what your situationship is and how we can help you navigate all of that. So your Relationship Tuesday continues on the other side of this.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, yes, we're back. And both of us so excited. We didn't know who was going to say it, but welcome back, Mzazi. Welcome.
Because it's the conversation that just needs to be had. We're talking about situationships. Now, are they becoming the new norm? And traditional relationships, are they kind of being eclipsed by this new thing, slowly becoming the thing of the past? Now, Sadia Southgate is here to continue unpacking this with us because, man, oh man. I also think that if we're being honest, we've all been in a situationship, right?
Yeah, we
We've
have.
all had this. Sadia!
Sorry, you look like you're a victim there.
I can't deal. We don't have to admit anything on
under the
national
bus.
TV, but I will say I have been in situationships before. Raul's also admitted to this, and
Yeah.
it is something quite challenging to navigate.
It is, I think, not the fact of it being the situationship that's challenging to navigate, but what happens when you enter that situationship, and naturally you gravitate towards this person.
Yeah.
Someone couples feelings, like we said.
Come on.
And this is where I really want to play into, because I think naturally, as you spend more time with someone,
Yeah.
you're going to find things to love about them
Yeah.
or hate about them. And that's just human nature, right? So when we get to that point of, hey, man, this situationship is starting to feel real. This person I'm with, I'm starting to develop a real connection with them.
Yeah.
Do I express that? Or do I just keep it to myself and continue to just let things play out the way they are? Because, I mean, I got to be honest with my feelings. I need to talk to someone about this. Who do I speak to, Sadia?
Well,
You've come to the right place.
yes, but you know, I wanted to touch on saying that, you know, honesty is the best policy.
Yeah.
I'm not just being honest for myself, but I'm being honest and transparent for the person on the other side that's actually receiving this information. So yes, it's become kind of the in thing, situationships, but the reality is that feelings are going to develop, whether we like it or not, because when it comes to, let's say, sexual relationships that you're having with people, that is a soul connection that you have. We don't see it, but we feel it, whether it's there or not. So it's something that oftentimes you talk about things that lies beneath the surface. So that is just the situationship. What comes to mind is just the tip of the iceberg. So the feelings, the soul connection, the mind and the body is what connects them, and that is lying beneath the surface.
Yeah, I'd agree. Sometimes we try to separate the mind and the body, but like it's all one thing at the end of the day. We also asked you, Expresso fam, to share your thoughts with us, because it's not just about us and our questions, okay? We also want to hear what you have to say, and let's tap into this. We had Teresa van Veek who said, "Good morning, Expresso family. Love is important, but love in a marriage is not enough to sustain it. It needs God, it needs respect, loyalty, commitment, effective communication, unwavering support, and like you said, honesty. Too many marriages do fail because people marry for the wrong reasons, security, money, and not anchored in God. And without God, you are bound to fail. Sickness, loss of earnings, failed business ventures are realities which affect thousands of families. And love goes out the window then, which proves that there are very few people in this world who knows what unconditional love is. Love is attached to what people can get, money, possessions, etc. But love is a verb. It is an action word. And too many people act out of their love and lives to what they can get out of life. Stop the hypocrisy, manipulation, and lies, and be true to yourself. Be authentic. Stop misleading honest people and, of course, hurting them. And stop saying, "I love you," unless you know what it truly, truly means. Woo, Teresa!
Sage words.
Mic drop.
Teresa had an
I love
answer for
that.
everybody. You want to know what's up? Teresa's got you. But I genuinely love a lot of what's being said here. And it
Yeah.
seems like there is a big sentiment on communication, on love, and the fact that you need to build up somewhat of a system in order to make it work. Sorry, when is it the right time to take that next step? When do we marry someone? Because essentially, that's the next sort of evolution from a relationship. Full life commitment.
Yeah.
Yes.
When do we confidently
Step into that.
step into that world?
Yeah.
When do we bring that conversation
Yes.
about?
I believe the comment there kind of just put it nicely in
Yeah.
place, like bullet points, structured, but it's when I can see myself not living without this person.
I
You
like
know,
that.
so I want to kind of just put it like that, because when I know that I can't go a day without this person, I would know that I want to be with him for the rest of my life, you know, because it's a very tricky thing and a very difficult situation to navigate through. But what the comment was saying is that God is the center of everything, you know. So from that, everything else flows, whether it's money, whether it's your career, whether it's kids, everything else that flows from that. Because whatever it is that I have not dealt with as a parent, whether I'm married or not, because we do have single parents that are watching the show, is that's going to have a ripple impact on my children. And what role am I playing in that? Because now what is happening if I'm not drawing the line by the trauma and what was done to me, I'm passing that on by default. So I would say, speak up about it, be open and honest, create that environment for the kids and for yourself and for the person that you are in the situationship with. But basically what it comes down to is, if I can't live without you, then
You're
I
my
need to stay with you.
I gotta stay with you. That's the only alternative. I love that. I also love that she brought up the fact that, you know, we go through financial difficulties. sickness can happen to anybody at any point in your life, and love truly is the thing that, you know, lasts. And I think we brought this up before about unconditional love, because now let's just swing the pendulum the other way. Yes, we have the closed off situationships. We're not getting vulnerability and love involved. But when it comes to commitment, unconditional love, is this something that is true?
Is it a real thing?
It's a very hard question. Let me say this, you know, there's a thing that we call in psychology conditional positive regard. But I believe that when it comes to also just love, we often put conditions on it.
Yeah.
So if I'm loving with conditions, then my intentionality is wrong in the first place. Because conditions is constantly changing. Finances are changing, our careers are changing. So if I'm basing my love, my commitment on something that is changing, my marriage is not going to last. Because I love the person, not the thing that they come with.
Sure.
Sure. Mic drop right there.
drop.
Sorry, I can't be ever more grateful for having you out here this morning. I think the way you brought in a real perspective on situationships, which is something that is so grey in this day and age, it just makes sense. I think it's all about, like you said, communication. Be honest with yourself, which is going to allow yourself to be honest with everybody else. And I'm going to take this and run with it. For
Absolutely. Not run into a situation.
Yes.
Don't worry. This has been wonderful. And thank you for also bringing hope to so many people that find themselves in very blurred and sticky situations. So can't wait to have you back again to hopefully talk some more positively about love in this month of love. Well, that is your relationship chat for this Health Tuesday. It's where we leave things for now, but continue the conversation across our socials, just like Teresa has. And we'll see all of that straight after this.